So today I'm going to kind of redo a video that I have done before. I've kind of addressed the issue twice, and that's about treatment teams in recovery. The videos that I made before was when I was about halfway to 2/3 in recovery, and they're very black and white about treatment teams. And although I agree very much with the sentiments that I have expressed there, it's not always the case for every treatment team, and I was a bit negative towards treatment teams. Now obviously working in eating disorders residential unit, my opinion has slightly changed, although the sentiments expressed in my other video are definitely true for a lot of treatment teams, but there are also a lot of really good ones too. So I'd like to kind of just revamp the video a little bit. It's not really going to be too much different, but I just kind of decided that I thought it would be a good idea to redo it, as I have a few more things to add and more discussion to take place around this topic. Obviously, a lot of people will have treatment teams, whether that is inpatient or outpatient or a support network consisting of, you know, a therapist, a dietitian, a doctor, etc, etc. So they're going to be professionals involved in many people's recoveries. Obviously, if you're in an inpatient unit, it's quite controlled, so your own recovery method will be that of other people's around you a lot of the time. You'll be put on meal plans and calorie amounts and have weight targets, and a lot of that will be controlled, so it won't be within your decision to make other choices. When it's like that, there's not really that much else you can do. You kind of have to wait till you are at a point at which you have more control over your recovery and the decisions that you make in regards to it. But obviously some inpatient units will have more of working with the patients rather than to them, and this is the type of treatment that I think is a lot better. I think that showing respect for the person, not treating them like an illness, treating them like a person, involving them in decision making, even if you make a decision for them that they don't agree with. I think that people should always be aware of and involved in discussions around decisions that's being made about their bodies and their lives. So respect and consideration, treating people humanely, and also treating them like just another human being rather than not really treating them on the same level as you would treat other people you know. I think it's really important to treat them like any other person, except that they have something on top of this which you now need to manage and help them with. So not just treating them like they are just this illness. So I don't know if you have been treated like this. A lot of people I know have, and have had some pretty abominable ways of recovery done to them which aren't actually ways of recovery, such as using food as punishment is one of them that I have heard. And I just think there are a lot of examples of people being treated really inhumanely, and obviously I don't agree with that at all. And I think that you should always respect the patient or client, and to a degree they should be able to have their input in decisions made about them and their bodies, but obviously the control has to be taken away from them in a lot of situations. But I do think that it should always be discussed with them, and it should be explained why decisions are being made and what is happening to them, etc, etc. So obviously there's that, and there are so many horror stories and it's awful to hear them. But there are really good places as well that do treat people with respect and really involve patients and clients with the decisions that are being made. And I do really think that that is the way to go forward, and I do think that a lot of places don't work like that. So yeah, if you are inpatient, your control over your recovery is going to be limited, but I always think that it is really important to communicate with your treatment team and your therapist and anyone around you, anyone involved in your care, about what you would like and how you would like to move forward, and what you are working towards, your goals, and what recovery means to you, and about how to get there. If you have any suggestions, then always bring them up, always communicate. They may say no and not agree with you, but you know, if you're able to provide good enough evidence for moving in that direction, then there is no reason they shouldn't say no, unless they have any rules or regulations that prevent them from doing so. So it's always good to have those conversations and see where that leads you, and see if that can move you forward in the direction that you want to go in, if you think that it will be helpful to you. So that would be great. If you're an outpatient or seeing a therapist or a dietitian, or you know, you're living at home and you are going to places for treatment, then you have a lot more control over your recovery and how how it's done. So I think that there are a lot of people where diet culture has a massive impact on them, and their decisions around your recovery can be based on that. So for example, weight gain and binging, extreme hunger and exercise and stuff like that, then people can give you what I would say is the wrong advice about, you know, reaching a certain weight and not going past it, or exercising during your recovery, or eating a certain amount and lowering it as you gain weight, etc, etc. Now, there can be reasons why people suggest that this is a good thing to do. For example, people feeling that they're binging and with rapid weight gain and stuff like that. The reason that some professionals will say not to do this is because of the worry of relapse. Because some people, if they gain weight really, really fast, or they are binging and feeling really, really guilty and negative afterwards, there is the worry that the person might not be able to handle it and in fact will be tripped into relapse. This is a reason why some professionals do try and keep the weight gain steady and slow, why they suggest a certain amount of calories, and why they don't encourage binging. And that's perfectly reasonable in a way, because for some people that is a worry, and it is something that some people do respond to badly, and it is a possibility for relapse. But I also think that they're very afraid of encouraging these things that actually the person can handle. Not everybody can handle it, but a lot of people can. As I have seen throughout the process of lots of people's recoveries, they have binged or had rapid weight gain and they have handled it fine, even though it's been very, very difficult. Fine is relative. I mean that they have been able to continue with their recovery and haven't relapsed. But I think that a lot of professionals fear that they will tip them over the edge. So if you feel that your therapist or dietitian or doctor or whoever is encouraging you to do something against what you would like to do, so if you think that you should be eating more and you would like to eat more, and your therapist has advised a lower amount of calories and you're hungry all the time, then I think it's really important to communicate this with them and to say, actually, you know what, I think I can handle this, and I think this is best for me and my body and my recovery and my health and my happiness, and that I think that I can move forward with this. And if the reason was fear of relapse, then obviously you'll be able to converse about this, and hopefully they will get on board with you and support you through moving forward. Obviously there are lots of people who also hold the opinion that weighing over a certain amount is bad, which has been proven time and time again to not be, and they might advise you to stay at a certain weight or stop at a certain weight, lower your calories to maintain a certain weight, or exercise to maintain a certain weight, and that's not right. And if they do that, I think that it would be best to either focus on emotional issues and not talk about the physical side of recovery if that works for you and you don't need to talk about that. If you are able to just discuss emotional stuff and talk about the underlying reasons for an eating disorder whilst separately doing what you feel is right for your health and your happiness and your recovery, then maybe you could just focus on the emotional things and not have to talk about that. Or I would suggest getting somebody else, because if your team, your professionals don't help move you forward in your recovery when you know that you're not eating enough, you're hungry all the time, or you've seen evidence of this but they are triggering you into feeling like it's bad to do so, then it might be time to think about getting a new therapist or dietitian or doctor and working with someone else that supports what you're doing, so that you don't have to feel like there's a constant battle between you and them, or triggers, or you can't work with them because they won't support what you actually need to do to move forward. Responding to all your hunger and extreme hunger is better for your body. To do what your body wants is better for your body, but you do have to think about it mentally as well, and this is what the health professionals are doing. Obviously, yeah, please discuss it with them if you think that you can handle it, because your treatment should be patient driven past a certain point when you're able to start making your own choices, and of course if you're outpatient you'll always be starting by making some of your own choices, because you're not in a really controlled environment. You can be given advice, but it's up to you what you do in following it, and the professionals in your recovery should be working with you and supporting you in what you choose to do. So it should be patient driven. Again, as I said before, if you are being told a decision or advice is being given to you about doing something in your recovery, you should get them to explain reasons for the decisions that are being made or the advice given, so that you understand what it is, and then you can decide whether it's going to be helpful or harmful to your recovery, mentally and physically. The thing to remember is that professionals work in different ways, so if you can't find someone to work with at first, you may have to go through a couple to find someone that supports the way in which you're deciding to recover. I do think that in my last video I made a lot of generalizations. I kind of said that everybody was like that, or it came across that way in the video as I rewatched it yesterday, but that's just not the case. A lot of professionals will not work in a way that I agree with, but there will be lots as well that do, and this is becoming more and more prominent with how much more information is being given to the public about health at every size and the BMI system and how rubbish it is at determining health. And as more evidence comes to light and more people get on board with that, there is more and more professionals that are working in a different way and helping people to reach their set point, which can be any weight, shape or size, and encouraging people to listen to their body and respond to any hunger cues and cravings, and not to deny hunger and not to deny the signals that their body is giving them, because at the end of the day, your body is the utmost authority on what it needs. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. If your body is hungry, it means it needs energy. Obviously, if you have some kind of underlying medical condition that messes with your hunger cues, then that's different. But you know, for the general population, denying hunger is not good. Your body knows what it needs better than anybody, and it gives you those cues for a reason. The other thing is exercise. That is a topic that I think is actually one of the biggest ones, because exercise is seen as such a good thing to do, whereas obviously if it's mentally unhealthy, it's not good to do it if it's compulsive. And if you are ill with an eating disorder, regardless of what weight you are, if you are starved down to a certain weight, your body is not going to want to expend its energy doing exercise. It wants to put as much energy as possible towards repairing itself, and you're just going to create a bigger energy deficit by exercising, and it's going to put strain on a body that's already damaged and that needs to repair. So if you are exercising during your recovery, it's not going to help you physically or mentally. It's just not a good thing to do, and a lot of professionals do encourage it, and I'm not really sure why. Moving your body is a positive thing when you are mentally able to do this, physically able to do this. I think that really during recovery you have to break your relationship with exercise if you've had any kind of problem with it, and rebuild it from the ground up again, which means ceasing exercise for however long it takes to be mentally and physically healthy and be able to start to build a relationship with exercise in a healthy way. So I don't think that anybody should be encouraging someone with an eating disorder to be exercising for both mental and physical reasons, and I think that's pretty obvious, and I'm not sure why anybody would, unless they were managing the exercise and doing damage control with the patient. So that's what I have to say on treatment teams. There are some great ones, there are some good ones, there are some mediocre ones, and then there are some pretty shit ones. But if you look around, if you can, if you're not inpatient and you know you have control over the method of recovery that you use and the professionals that you see, then do make sure that you're getting the best care that you can and that you think is helping you move towards a healthier and happier life. If you are finding them triggering in a way that's not helpful at all and are moving you away from your goals or not getting you close to them, then it would be a good idea to find somebody new to see. So just make sure you're getting the help that helps you the most and moves you in the direction that's best for your recovery and your health and your happiness. Just get the help that you need, and don't ever feel anxious or embarrassed or ashamed or worried about leaving someone that is not helping you grow and is not helping you move in the direction that you need to go. You need to do what is best for you. And also, professionals are used to people not being able to work with them, because not everybody can work with everyone. You know, some people can work with some people, other people can't work with others, and that's normal, and professionals are very aware of this and they have had people leave before, and they've had people that they can't work with before, and that is totally normal. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope this video clarifies my views. I think that the more and more I progress in my journey, obviously I'm fully recovered now, but the journey towards personal growth never ends. But the more I progress in that journey, the less black and white I am. But then I think that that's because I'm fully recovered, and when you're not, you are very black and white, and also you also need black and white. But yeah, just clarifying my position now. So I hope everybody's well and has had a lovely day, and I will speak to you soon.